The Time's Up movement came to life nearly 2 years ago when more than 300 powerful women in Hollywood took a stand against sexual harassment in the workplace. Its mission is to ensure equity and safety in the workplace across all industries. It's responding to survivors who came forward through the Me Too movement.
CBS Corporation donated $20 million last year to advocacy groups working to end sexual harassment in the workplace, including Time's Up. Only on CBS this morning, Time's Up is announcing the organization's new leader. She is here at the table. She's a lawyer.
Good morning.
Tina Tchen, just slipping in. We like that, Tina. She is co-founder of Time's Up Legal Defense Fund and the former chief of staff to First Lady Michelle Obama. Tina Tchen joins us first on CBS this morning. Congratulations and welcome.
Congratulations. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I could not be more thrilled to be able to take this job.
Stand by for a full Gush cover-up interview on CBS this morning on Monday with former Michelle Obama Chief of Staff Tina Tchen from Chicago. Now, of course, one thing about this Gush, oh, you're so wonderful, Tina interview by CBS this morning, one thing about it is they didn't mention a certain name. The name of the most famous hate crime hoax in recent history. And to get some background on that hate crime hoax that Tina Tchen was prominent in covering up, let's take a look, before we go to the more gush, let's take a look at this background information from Laura Ingraham back in March.
Did Michelle Obama's office have a role in shutting the Jussie Smollett case down? Now follow me here. Just days after Smollett reported his alleged hate crime to police, and the Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx tried to persuade Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson to turn the investigation over to the FBI. Now, the request came after Foxx received this text, according to the Chicago Sun-Times, from Tina Tchen, a Chicago attorney and former chief of staff for former First Lady Michelle Obama. Quote, I wanted to give you a call on behalf of Jussie Smollett and family, who I know. They have concerns about the investigation. Shortly after that, a Smollett family member reached out to Foxx, having been given her number by Obama's former assistant. Well, Foxx then replied in a text message that she, quote, spoke to the superintendent and that she was, quote, trying to figure out logistics. The relative then replied, OMG, this would be a huge victory, referring to the FBI taking over the case. Foxx then texted, I make no guarantees, but I'm trying. This is so great. So let me get this straight. The top prosecutor at the office that ultimately decided not to prosecute Smollett was actively seeking to help the defendant. And this was all set in motion by Michelle Obama's former chief of staff.
Okay, now that we know where Tina Tchen is coming from and what her recent background is, that, of course, CBS hosts, the This Morning hosts, never mentioned during their Gush interview. Just a reminder, isn't this weird? Isn't this ironic that a woman that's the head of an organization to help victims, it's the What's Up organization of help victims, actually made it much, much harder for those victims because she had a prominent role in helping a fake hate crime victim. Isn't that ironic? And yet, of course, you know, the CBS hosts there, they're all, oh, she's so wonderful, Tina, you're such a wonderful person. Then, of course, we won't mention you know what. Okay, so let's watch that.
You
co-founded the Time's Up Legal Defense Fund.
I
right?
did.
Which has raised over $24 million, is that right?
That's right.
What's that money being used for?
It's being used to help victims of sexual harassment. You know, so many have actually no recourse to legal services, especially low-income women. They can't find lawyers to represent them when they've been sexually harassed. They can't find PR support when their names all of a sudden start appearing in the news. So we've been able to help over 3,600 individuals in the last 2 years who've come forward. And a lot of them, 2/3 of them are low-income women. They come from every industry in the country.
You-
I think
the
men need to be
business.
part of this solution.
Absolutely.
What role should men be playing now?
Well, here's the thing. 95% of Fortune 500 CEOs are men.
That's right.
If men aren't part of the solution, we're not going to fix this. So men, need to own this as an issue. If you're a CEO, this needs to be your issue, not just your HR department.
Men need to own this? Hey, Tina, how about you own the fact that you were involved prominently involved in a cover-up of a fake hate crime hoax? Why don't you own up to it, Tina? Oh, geez. Of course, again, CBS this morning, they think they're fooling everybody by not mentioning that huge elephant in the room. I'm sure that all the hosts had that name of Jussie Smollett rolling around their heads, but it had to be a prerequisite for that interview that Tina Tchen would not appear unless they refrained from mentioning that very inconvenient case in which he was involved in a cover-up. And, of course, they're not fooling anybody. You're not fooling anybody, CBS, because you know what? Let's take a look now at the readers' comments on the YouTube video, below the YouTube video. Let's see. They're not fooled at all. They know what's going on. Let's take a look.
All right. Even though CBS this morning dare not speak the fake hate crime victim, that dare not speak its name during their interview, the viewers, they're not fooling the viewers. Let's look at some of the comments from the viewers below the YouTube video of, "Oh, Tina Tchen, you're so wonderful," interview on CBS this morning. So here we go. Right here, right at the top comments. She is the one that is involved with Fox that got the Smollett case dropped. She is also the lawyer who refused to be served a subpoena. She is being investigated by special counsel, Metro subpoena. Ha ha ha. Okay. Isn't she the lady that tried getting Jussie Smollett off? Absolutely right. But of course, the This Morning host won't dare mention that. Can't wait till Chen ends up in jail for getting Smollett out of his staged MAGA attack. Do you think she called Kim Fox and asked for Chicago police to turn case over to the FBI? Maybe because the FBI is a bunch of lunatic Democrats who will be locked up sooner or later and will let him walk. Isn't it funny they never asked her direct connections to having Jussie Smollett case dropped? It's so obvious, the media bias. Absolutely. If this was anybody else, they would have been asking those questions, not congratulate. Yeah, it's so obvious. CBS this morning, you're not fooling anybody with your gushy gush interviews.
Okay, can we just call this interview, this gush interview, for what it is? Fake news! So, all right, I'm sorry for going off the handle, but this really irks me. Why? YouTube, why do you give such prominence to the legacy media when they are involved in fake news and biased news? This is a perfect example. And you know what I really hate is when you want to see something about newsworthy, you go to YouTube and do a search. YouTube floods the zone with legacy media, which is chock full of fake news and biased news. So, you know what? I don't have any trouble seeing legacy media if I want to see it. So, you know what? My suggestion is, of course, YouTube won't take it, but why don't you have a search filter where you can actually, if you want to see legacy media, you can click the legacy media filter, or whatever you want to call legacy media. But why? I mean, it's like you don't want, you were flooding the zone with legacy media, and you don't want people to watch the information provided, such as I just did, from regular YouTubers, the deplorable YouTubers. So, you know what? This is unbelievable. So even non-political types are noticing what you're pulling, YouTube. Like, I'll give you an example. The Law Dog guy up in Quebec, he just had a great video about what YouTube is doing to his videos. He's not even political, but he sort of barely touched on it a little bit. So now YouTube is making it so it takes like half an hour to an hour for his videos to process. I mean, you're fooling nobody, YouTube. So please, Stop flooding the zone with legacy media videos that we really don't need to be seeing. Why don't you give prominence again to real YouTubers? And you know what? Another thing, how about allowing them to be in suggested videos? I mean, all right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for flying off the handle. So I'll see you guys later.